Disha took Suga Sean's jacket. It was one of the great spots of the night. And what are you going to do? I mean, what are you going to do? What would you do if Disha took your jacket? That's probably now his jacket, right? Well, sure. But you're not Suga Sean. Okay. Let's say you are Suga Sean and Disha took your jacket. Now, to make things worse, you don't have a shirt on underneath, which means either gives you your coat back or you got to, wherever it is you have to go next. Right? You think it's going to be dinner. You're going to go hit this pizza spot on the corner. Maybe you're just going to go back to the hotel. You got to go and have a shirt on? You are now a fool. That can't happen. But what if when Disha takes your jacket and you're Suga Sean and you want it back, what if him and 5 of his friends, who also are 5 of the baddest dudes around, are all together and you're by yourself? Suga Sean had to get that coat back. That's his coat. We don't know the history behind it. Maybe his grandmother gave it to him and she passed away. I mean, but by example, we don't know what value, what that had, but Sean was not happy. And he also wasn't happy that in his moment, the guy who many argue is the number 1 contender, right? I mean, that is belief. Sean is ranked number 1, but many believe that Disha would be fighting for a championship. It was not for his loyalty towards the friendship towards Aljo. Many believe that. So now Suga Sean, in his moment, that he flew across country. Sean lives by me, lives over in Arizona. He's got to go out there to the East Coast. Believe me, us West Coasters, we don't like the East Coast. He's got to go out there. He's got to do this whole thing. He's now in his moment. And another dude that some believe it should be hit just took his coat. He's got to get the coat back. It's a big deal. This was a big deal. And I'm grateful that Disha did it. I thought it was a great piece. I mean, Aljo's doing his thing. Henry's over in the corner of the ring. Okay, these are the optics. Henry's in the corner of the ring. His gloves are off. You remove your gloves as a fighter. You are giving a signal to the announcer, in this case, Joe Rogan, who's going to give a signal to the boss, to Craig Bersari. Don't go off air. Don't kill all the time. I must show respect and talk to him. He's taken his gloves off. He's going to retire. It's a big deal. So we're listening to Aljo, and we got this thing going. We got the face-off with Sean. We got Dana in the ring. And we know that this is coming in out of nowhere. I saw Sean. I saw him take the coat off. I didn't see where the coat goes. The next time that everybody's in view, Disha wearing it. Oh, my God, I popped. I started screaming. I was screaming at the TV, and the only person up in my house is my son. And I'm yelling to, he's like, Dad, what's going on? I said, Disha got his coat. He's got his coat. Okay. I'm bringing this to you because, I mean, if you missed it, it's a big deal. Now, when the whole thing is, Sean has to get the coat back, but to get his coat back, this isn't Sean and Tim have to get the coat back. This is Sean by himself. He's got to get the coat from people that don't like him. By the way, there's 5 of them. He has to get it back. He has no shirt. There's a way when you're bad. Like, you can't have somebody steal your coat and be a rough guy, right? I mean, at some point, you can't be giving up your lunch money anymore and be a tough guy. Like, it's one of the two. So, let's say Sean had a shirt on. Just say he had a shirt on. He could have done the math. He could have seen that Disha took the jacket. He could have seen where the cameras are, know we're about to go off air. He's going to the same bus in the back I am to go to the same hotel. I'll get my coat back there. And he could have, like, if he had a shirt on, he could have acted as though, oh, did I set my jacket down? Oh, that's right. Oh, God, I hardly even care about that whole thing. He could have played it like that. He had no shirt on. He had to get the coat back. So then, this is 2 grown men. This is 2 grown men, and he took his coat. Oh, my God, he took his coat. Oh, my goodness. So, Dana has to get involved. See, I just wish they would have taken the microphone and stuck the microphone in there. I don't know what Sean was saying to Disha. Disha's not going to give him the coat back. He took the coat to say, hey, kid, I took your coat, right? He'll give it to him in the bus too. He wasn't going to steal the coat, but he's not going to give it to him back. There's a difference. So now Dad has to come over. He's giving the belt that one of his top draws that saved the division, the only Olympic gold medals he's got. He's holding this, looks like he's going to retire. Time is ticking down before this pay-per-view goes off air. And Dana's got to go over and make sure that Sean gets his coat back so he's not top man. It was a thing. And Sean was pissed. Sean went to the post-fight press conference and called him a little weirdo. He was not happy about the coat thing. I am. I think Dishlavili, I thought there was something to watch there. I thought it made it interesting. And we learned a lot in that fight. Oh, boy, did we ever. Did we ever. What about the narrative that's been going around that goes back to Jan Aljo Part 1, that Aljo doesn't have the lungs for this? I saw it too. I saw what you guys saw. I never said it, but I saw what you saw. So then you get the big rematch, and Aljo gives away rounds 4 and 5. Well, so now the narrative that he can't push in 4 or 5 still exists, but you do have to question because he gave them away. He didn't get beat. He let them have them. Risky game, but that's what happened. So then you see Dishlavili, his teammate, who has weaponized pace like nobody else that's currently competing today. We've had guys do it, but not currently. He is the #1 pace in our industry right now, Dishlavili. And you wonder, is this guy the rightful guy? And that's happened before. Tito had the belt, trained with Chuck. Everybody that was in the room said, no, Chuck was the guy, but Tito was the champion. And Chuck didn't want to step on that. It was just his workout part. I mean, sometimes we've seen this. We never got our answer between Kane and Daniel. We might be fine with that, but we never got our answer. Rory and St. Pierre was questioned at one point. I think it's, but I'm just sharing for you. Sometimes that doesn't happen. And we did wonder, is Dishlavili actually the guy? Could he put a pace on Aljo that would outspan Aljo's athleticism? Maybe. We don't think that anymore. Aljo held up. Aljo gave the 5th round again away. Again. Aljo knew he had that thing in the bank. This was against an Olympic wrestling champion who Aljo took down twice and tried to take him down 5 times. He showed him no respect. Henry, on the other hand, after the fight, did. He said, man, they call this guy the Funk Master. I thought it's because he had bad breath or something. He said, this guy was weird. There was positions. It was awkward. I had never felt it before. That's a huge compliment from a guy who I can't recall a time he's given a compliment. It's a big deal. Really, really big deal. Really gracious of Henry Cejudo. But on the other hand, it really helped to solidify the era that we're in, which is the Sterling era. That fight was billed as the main event, and it was billed as the Bantamweight Championship. But what did we know, guys? What did we know as hardcores? We knew they were fighting for the greatest ever. We knew that. And it wasn't put out there because they don't talk about Aljo like that. This was Aljo's first main event. Big deal. It's a big deal when you realize that. There's things where we've pulled him back. We've pulled him down. I think one of the reasons, we just didn't know how good he was. I think that's the truth. We have to call him the best in the world. That's what that belt represents. But that's not what they fought for, did they? They fought for the greatest bantamweight ever. And a first-time main eventer isn't generally the guy. But it turns out Aljo is.